Hi, Tremendous Leadership fans. We are here today with a very special announcement. Our newest Tremendous Leadership author, Joe Grieco, with the new release of his book, Get Your Great, the 10-question plan to hit your best. Joe, welcome.
Tracy, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here. So stoked and excited to get this book out there.
Awesome. Joe, I'm just so honored, and it's such a great time to talk about this. Tell the folks a little bit about your background.
Well, my background, I'm currently active duty military, working in cybersecurity. But my real passion is travel, culture, writing, and coaching. And that's kind of why I pursue all those avenues.
Excellent.
And
And Joe, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm currently living in Italy, traveling around Europe, getting all the travels around here as well.
Beautiful. Well, for those of us who've been in the military and had the joy of being stationed over in Europe, it is a rare opportunity, and it's just absolutely fabulous. So thank you, sir, for your service. So delightful to meet somebody still active duty.
Appreciate your support.
You're welcome. Okay, so Joe, talk to me. You talk about coaching, and obviously, what is the main message about Get Your Great, and unpack some of the 10 questions that you talk about that you give to the reader.
Absolutely. So the motivation behind Get Your Great is to really dig deep into what drives you in the day to day. A lot of people search for purpose in life. And I think the question there really derives with what you're passionate about, is where you find your real purpose. And I think there's a huge confusion with putting a name to it or some very general idea, where I think that your purpose and getting your great is very personal. And I wanted to help people, have a easier job and task of getting inside themselves and realize by asking these 10 questions, um, to find out what it is that drives them and not what drives the rest of society. And I think that's the huge difference. And I like to delve into examples from my own life, and my own experiences, and kind of, I look at the questions as road signs, where I want to people are on a journey. Finding your purpose is a journey, and it's going to have ups and downs, but it's great when you have that self-reflection. And I want people to come, as they're reading, to these road signs per se, as they're walking along trying to find their purpose. And it says, go right here, go left here. And sometimes you just got to choose whichever one's best for you. Does it feel better to go right? Does it feel better to go left? Or do I just go backwards? It's really a personal walk, and that's what I really want to inspire people to, pursue.
Well, and you have a really varied background and have been through quite a few different things, like many of our listeners and like myself. And what I really like about your book is a lot of times people are sitting there kind of waiting for the big light bulb, the voice in the clouds to tell them, but you're very much above, hey, you're already going to be in this flow. And like you said, there's going to be different things that happen, opportunities, mistakes. You're quite transparent about a lot of things in your life that you did and opportunities lost because of different things. And I appreciate that, because we're all like that. But it's very much the road signs. And hey, as you're going through the widgets, there will be different signs, and it's not so mysterious. But every sign you see is a chance for introspection, redirection, and recalibration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to say it as well.
Excellent. Well, give me one of the questions to kind of tease the readers about some of the questions you're going to take them through and help them unpack in their journey.
Okay, so one of the ones that stands out to me, I know when I originally wrote the first draft, I worded it such as, what things are you doing or not doing that is flooding your road? And I'll unpack that. I kind of rearranged the verbiage there, but what that question kind of, or why it stands out to me, is it makes people kind of have that introspection, but you realize, looking back or even looking at the present moment, what have I done or not done to move towards my goal, move towards the things that I love in life that I'm pursuing? And I think that a really, another quote I put in the book, but it's talking about how, you don't see the stars without the night. So they stand out because it's nighttime, right? And when it's daytime, you don't see the stars, but they're still there. And so you have to really look at what you're not doing, or the, not negative, but the steps back before you really can see the cliff you're trying to jump to, or the mountain you're trying to climb to. or that passion you're trying to bring to the surface.
Well, I love that introspection because a lot of people want to just jump to the goals without looking at, okay, but there's something already stopping you because otherwise you already would have been there. So there's fears, there's obstacles, there's childhood memories, there's, all different kinds of things. And you have to really get back there and unpack that first until you can really go forward and catapult.
Precisely.
Excellent.
That's what yeah.
And Joe, who is primarily your market? Who would you say this message would really resonate with?
It's a really tough question, and every time I'm asked that with my other books and such forth, it's something I struggle to answer, because I truly am a believer that you can be, any age and still be at the precipice of finding your dream or confused what your passions are. But I will say I primarily wanted to write this to an audience, people that are in high school, graduating high, but they have to be a mature high schooler, but all the way to, I'd say, 40. So I guess that would be an 18 to 40 range. People who are just either entering the door of, autonomhood, or like your new job, or people who are at a point where they're trying to find something new, or they're frustrated with their current situation, which, like I said, that could be any age. But that's, I guess, my target audience is people that are just beginning something new, or at a stalemate in life.
Well, I like that. And I've always heard that the age of 20 to 40 is your learning years. And that's where you're going out, you're trying all different kinds of things. Like I did, worked in like 5 different industries, went to 7 different schools, and you're trying to learn and see if this is a good fit. And I love that you identified your market is for that stage, just to keep going. Because even though you're learning, this is a tremendous time of introspection because you see what really works for you and not somebody else.
Exactly. And that's just, I always tell people too, when I'm coaching as well, that often the loudest voice of reason is pain. And I look at it and I say, like, pain is a portal. It's either going to take you backwards, or you're going to be stuck in the mires of your past, or you're going to take that pain and learn and grow from it. And for me personally, that's what it's done. And there's been a lot of big pains in my life, as we talked about. I've also had a very diverse last 29 years, and doing a lot of different things, and you learn through those times, those tribulations, and even the good times. But I think the biggest lessons come from the toughest times in life.
Absolutely. Well, that's a biblical principle as well. It's only when we're weak, do we really have the, I love that, pain is a portal. So you talked about, I was going to say that could be your next book, but you talked about that you've written other books. Share with our listeners some of the other books that you've written.
Yes, absolutely. So my favorite books I've written in a different genre, fiction genre, realistic fiction, is the Cardinal Cure trilogy. And basically that's something I started way back in 2012. And I went back to it and revisited it and expanded it one book into 3. And it follows a character who is not really a vigilante, but he's just a very successful young man, entrepreneur, but he has a heart for humanity, kind of along the lines of myself. And he wants to help where he can. And he suffers a great pain in his life, multiple actually. And through his lineage, he has, I don't want to ruin the book for you guys, he adopts this calling that his grandfather once had. And he follows this calling through the trilogy while living his own life. And the principle behind it is that essentially never give up on your dreams, even if it seems in the moments that they're not going to be accomplished. And that's why the titles that broke up into, it's the memory, and then it's the dream, and then it's the moment. Because I think that is essential in life, to look at things where, you have memories, and they're the most beautiful things you can reach back on and learn from. They can also be hunting. So you also have your dreams, your aspirations, your visions, what you really want in life, but you can't really touch them because they're in the future. But the most important time in essence in life and in every moment is the moment. So I've kind of broke it up, and I followed these characters' story as they pursue the objective, which is to end the tyranny that's going on in the book, the setting of the book, which changes. And I incorporate a lot of travel and adventure in it as well. So very excited to get that one out there as well.
Well, for our listeners out there, Joe is one of the most adventurous. I mean, he has just kept going. He sees the world, he experiences the world. He's out there defending this great country and helping our allies across the globe. So absolutely somebody. And Joe, tell me about Auxilium. You said you're the founder of that.
Yes, Auxilium is something. So I started during the lockdown, really. So I was always in the past 8 years, I was a coach, fitness coach, nutrition coach. And I kind of wanted to take that to the next level with a brand, and not necessarily for monetary gain, but to kind of put a cool logo with, so people have somewhere they recognize the door to walk into, so people's familiarity and comfort with it. So my motivation was to start a podcast, which I did, goes along with my coaching. And the coaching is mostly online to give people, both free and private advice for diet, for fitness, and also for motivation. So the idea behind it is in line with the book. Is I want people to get their grade. I want them to realize that there's resources out there, but the biggest resource is themselves, and then just how to help them realize that when it comes to one of the most important things about life, which is fitness, diet, and, your self-confidence, your motivation.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And I love it. You talk in the beginning of the book about themzillas. That was one of my favorite things when I first read the manuscript. And again, you keep going back to this thread of, it's already in you, and we're just resources to help. And that's very similar to Spark. You got everything you need. It's just doing that. So tell our listeners what themzillas are.
So themzilla is, I guess, the easiest way to say it, and the most hackneyed or common phrase people use is the Joneses, competing with the Joneses, right? So themzilla is this idea that you're competing with everyone else. You're looking at everyone else, what they're doing, what their dreams are, or what they think of you and your pursuits of your own dreams. And so for me, it's nice to identify with, Godzilla, obviously, who's terrorizing a city. It's the same concept where I think when you're on this introspection spectrum dream and you're trying to look inside and really identify with your true passions and what aligns with your heart, per se, and what you want in life, you can't look at the Godzilla. Otherwise, it's going to destroy everything or hold you back. You got to look at yourself, and then you can overcome that. And you find so much joy when you're not worried about what anyone else is thinking when you're pursuing what you want, what makes you happy.
I love it. And that's why I love the title of the book. It's your great, and your great is your great. And it's what you're meant to do. Love it. Joe, what's the best way for people to contact you? We'll have all this in the show notes and stuff like that. But there is a preferred way if people want to work out with you as far as coaching. And we'll talk with our listeners a little bit about how to get the book. But how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the best way, especially that I'm living over here in Europe, if you're not in Europe, which a lot of the viewers are not, the best way and the quickest turnaround is any of the social media avenues, preferably Facebook, Instagram, but also I have an email, auxiliumjwg@gmail.com. So we'll obviously include that. That's probably the best form of communication, and get in touch with you, get you some tips, give you the right direction for the coaching.
I love it. All right. Well, for our listeners out there, you make sure go over to Tremendous Leadership, subscribe. The book is due for an imminent release, and we're so excited to see what's going on. So just get over there and make sure that you follow what's going on. Support Joe. I know it's going to be a #1 bestseller in many, many categories, and help a lot of people really get their great, which is all about claiming your tremendousness.
Oh, thank you so much, Tracy.
Yeah, Joe. And listen, brother, thank you so much for all you're doing over there. Looking forward to connecting with you, if not over there, back here in the States, and just looking forward to a tremendous launch of your book. Thank you for putting your thoughts down and helping so many other people.
Absolutely. It's the only option I had, really,
I love it. I love it. All right, brother. And to our tremendous listeners out there, thanks for being part of our tribe. Stay tremendous. Okay.